The human shuttle glided slowly over the surface of the strange planet, its metallic hull reflecting the soft glow of a lavender sky. From above, the world looked alive, with floating islands drifting lazily among clouds of gold and pink. Rivers shimmered like liquid glass, and tall crystal trees stretched high into the air, their branches sparkling with colors that humans had never imagined. Dr. Liam Carter leaned against the observation window, eyes wide with wonder. He had spent years studying alien worlds, but this one was different. It felt alive. It hummed with energy. "I've never seen anything like this," he whispered to himself. His voice barely carried over the soft hum of the shuttle. The other members of the team, a small group of explorers and scientists, were busy collecting data and scanning the terrain below. But Liam's attention was elsewhere. Something, or someone, moved in the distance. At first it was just a small glimmer, a reflection on the crystal river. Then it became clearer. A figure was descending from one of the floating islands, moving with perfect grace, as if the planet itself recognized her presence. She wore a suit that covered her completely. Her helmet reflected the sky, hiding her face, but her movements were elegant, almost regal. Liam's heart raced. "Who is that?" he asked, though he knew no one had an answer yet. That's not on our map," said Lieutenant Maris, pointing to the figure. "We don't know anything about this area. Be careful." Liam ignored the warning. Curiosity surged through him. He had studied alien cultures for years, but nothing prepared him for this moment. The figure paused on the ground, surveying the shuttle with what seemed like careful interest. Then slowly she moved closer, and Liam felt a strange pull, a mix of fear and fascination. The shuttle landed gently on a clear patch of ground near a sparkling lake. The team disembarked cautiously, weapons at the ready, though Liam kept his hand off his sidearm. He didn't want to scare whoever or whatever was coming. As they approached, Liam noticed details in the alien's suit. It was smooth, metallic, and seemed alive, almost like it was breathing. Light patterns ran across the surface, pulsing softly with her movements. She stopped a few meters away and raised a hand in greeting. Liam took a deep breath. "I think she wants us to come closer," he said softly. "No way," Maris whispered. "We don't know her intentions. Stay back." But Liam couldn't stop himself. He stepped forward slowly, keeping his movements calm. The alien princess tilted her head, observing him carefully. Then she spoke, though not in words. A strange vibration filled Liam's mind, soft and melodic. "Do not be afraid," the voice said. "I mean no harm." Liam froze, stunned. The words weren't spoken aloud, yet he understood them perfectly. I'm Dr. Liam Carter," he said, trying to sound calm. "We come in peace." The princess extended her hand. Liam hesitated, then slowly raised his own. Their hands almost touched. The air seemed to shimmer around them, charged with energy. For a moment, nothing else existed. Just the two of them. Two explorers from different worlds, connected by curiosity and wonder. Suddenly, a soft chime rang from her suit, and she moved back slightly. Liam noticed a small panel on her wrist glowing faintly. She gestured toward it, then back at him. It took a moment, but he realized she wanted him to see something. He stepped closer and saw the panel display a map of her world. Floating islands, crystal rivers, glowing forests, everything was perfectly detailed. And in the center of the map, a small dot marked their position. She tilted her head, and a soft feeling of invitation filled his mind. "Come with me," she said. "I will show you my world." Liam looked at his team. Maris shook her head, clearly worried. "Are you crazy?" she hissed. "We don't know what she's capable of." But Liam felt he had no choice. Something about her presence called to him, a sense of trust he couldn't explain. Slowly, he nodded. "All right," he whispered. "I'll go." The princess turned and began walking toward the glowing forest in the distance. Liam followed, marveling at the colors and lights around him. Every step revealed something new: floating flowers that hummed softly, streams of liquid light, and gentle creatures that watched them curiously from the treetops. As they walked, Liam noticed the princess moving with perfect balance across uneven ground. She seemed light, almost as if gravity itself bent for her. He struggled to keep up, but she slowed for him, glancing back with eyes that were calm, intelligent, and beautiful. Then for the first time she removed her helmet. Liam froze. Her face was unlike anything he had ever seen. Smooth, luminous skin, eyes larger than human eyes but gentle, and hair that shimmered like liquid silver. Her features were elegant, delicate, yet strong. Liam could feel his heart beating faster, and he couldn't help but whisper, "Gorgeous." She tilted her head slightly, and a soft, musical laugh filled the air, not from her mouth, but directly into his mind. "You are bold," she said, "but kind." Liam blushed, unsure how to respond. The words felt intimate, like she could see his thoughts. He realized he had never experienced anything like this before, not with humans, not with animals, not even in his wildest dreams. The princess stopped at the edge of a glowing lake. The water reflected the floating islands above, creating a mirror of colors that danced and shifted. She gestured for him to look closer. As Liam approached, he saw movement beneath the water. Small, luminous creatures swam gracefully, leaving trails of light in their wake. The princess pointed at them, and he understood. She was sharing her world, letting him see its beauty firsthand. Liam felt awe fill him. Humans had explored many planets, but he had never felt this connection, to the land, to the air, to another being. This was something more than science. This was wonder. "Your world," he said softly. "It's incredible." The princess nodded, her hair catching the light of the floating sun above. "And it is only a part of it," she said. "There is much more to see if you are willing to learn." Liam swallowed, his mind racing. There was so much to explore, so much to understand. And somehow he knew that his journey on this planet, and with this alien princess, was just beginning. Above them, the sky deepened into hues of purple and gold. The wind carried the soft hum of the planet, as if the world itself was alive and watching. Liam took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of excitement, curiosity, and something he couldn't quite name. The princess extended her hand again, inviting him to follow her deeper into the world. Liam took it this time without hesitation, ready to step into the unknown, ready to witness wonders beyond imagination, and ready to prove that humans, though fragile and small compared to the universe, could inspire trust, courage, and connection in even the most alien of worlds. And so, hand in hand, human and alien princess began their journey together, beneath the glowing sky of a world that promised adventure, mystery, and perhaps a friendship that would change the galaxy forever. The glowing lake shimmered behind them as Liam followed the alien princess into a narrow path lined with crystal trees. Their tall trunks reflected soft light, making the entire forest glow as if stars had fallen onto the ground. The air was warm but fresh, filled with a faint humming sound that felt alive. Liam tried to keep his steps steady, but his heart was racing. He had trained for first contact, but no lessons could prepare him for this. The princess walked a few steps ahead, graceful and calm, her silver hair moving like water in the soft breeze. Without the helmet, her face looked even more radiant in the forest's light. "Do you always walk so fast?" Liam thought nervously, knowing she could sense emotions through her strange telepathic voice. She glanced back and smiled. "I am slowing down for you." Her voice rang gently in his mind, musical and warm. "Your world's gravity must feel different here." Liam nodded, still catching his breath. "It's lighter. Feels like I could jump and never come down." He tried a small leap, landing softly. "This planet is amazing." "It is my home," she replied with quiet pride. "And today, it welcomes you." They reached a clearing where large crystal flowers grew, each taller than a human. The petals opened and closed slowly, releasing glowing mist into the air. Liam watched in wonder. "Do they breathe?" he asked. The princess touched one petal lightly. "They share the air with us. They keep this valley alive." For a moment they stood in silence, surrounded by soft light and gentle humming. Liam noticed that her eyes, a deep shade of violet, seemed to hold not just intelligence but kindness. She studied him with curiosity, as if she wanted to know every thought he had. Finally, Liam spoke. "You understand me perfectly. How? My people hear thoughts as music," she said. "Not every word, but the meaning beneath them. I use this suit to translate so your friends will understand too." Liam glanced back in the direction of the shuttle, now far behind the forest. He knew Maris and the others were probably pacing in worry. "My team will be worried, but I guess I can't waste this chance." The princess tilted her head. "What is your purpose here, traveler?" "We explore," Liam said. "We learn about new worlds, about new life. We believe every planet has something to teach us." Her eyes softened. "A noble dream." Then she added, "And you? What do you dream, Liam, of Earth?" The question caught him off guard. No one ever asked him that directly, not even other humans. He thought for a moment. "I dream of finding something beautiful, something that makes the universe feel alive. Maybe a friend among the stars." The princess smiled. "Perhaps your dream walks beside you now." Liam felt his cheeks grow warm, though he tried to hide it by looking at the glowing flowers. Suddenly the ground trembled slightly. The petals of the flowers closed all at once, as if hiding from something. Liam looked around in alarm. "What was that?" The princess raised her hand calmly. "Do not fear. The valley shifts when the air currents change. The floating islands move above us and their weight stirs the ground." They continued walking until the forest opened into a vast crystal valley. In the distance, Liam saw an entire city floating above the ground, held by invisible energy. Towers rose high, linked by glowing bridges. Ships shaped like smooth wings glided silently from platform to platform. The sight took his breath away. This is your city?" Liam whispered. "This is Luran, the heart of my people," she said with pride. "It is old and wise. My family watches over it to keep it safe." Liam stared in awe. "You're a princess?" "Yes," she admitted simply. "But here that only means I serve my people. I am their voice, their guide, and sometimes their student." They reached a smooth platform shaped like a flower, rising from the ground as they stepped onto it. With a faint hum, the platform lifted into the air, carrying them upward toward the floating city. Liam gripped the edge tightly, his stomach twisting as the ground fell away. The princess noticed his unease. "Do not worry. The wind is gentle here. You will not fall." "I'll take your word for it," Liam muttered, though he still held on. As they rose, the view widened. Liam could see more floating islands connected by threads of light, like an entire necklace hanging in the sky. Gardens, filled with glowing trees, decorated the platforms. Soft music floated through the air, not from speakers but as if the city itself sang. When they landed, several tall figures approached. They wore the same living suits, their helmets still on. One of them spoke, but not to Liam. The words were melodic, like water flowing over stone. The princess answered briefly, and the others stepped aside respectfully. "They don't trust me yet, do they?" Liam asked quietly. "They are cautious," the princess admitted. "They have never seen a human before. But they will watch how you act." Liam nodded. "Fair enough." She led him through a wide avenue where buildings shone like crystal sculptures. Every surface reflected soft light, creating a dreamlike glow. People walked gracefully, some nodding politely at the princess, some whispering as they looked curiously at the human guest. Liam felt both honored and nervous. "Everyone's staring at me," he said. "They are wondering if you come as a friend," she said calmly. "Do not be afraid." They are peaceful, as long as you are as well. They stopped before a palace that seemed to grow out of the floating island itself. Its walls were translucent, with streams of light running through them like rivers. The grand doorway opened soundlessly, revealing a hall filled with floating lanterns. Inside, the air smelled fresh and sweet, like blooming flowers after rain. The princess gestured for Liam to sit on a low platform beside a clear pool of water. She touched her wrist panel, and suddenly Liam heard her voice aloud, translated by the suit's device. "This should help your friends if we speak later," she said in clear but gentle English. Liam smiled in relief. "That's easier." She sat gracefully across from him. "Tell me, Liam Carter, do humans always whisper when they see something beautiful?" Liam laughed awkwardly. "Only when they're surprised." "And were you surprised when I removed my helmet?" Liam hesitated, feeling his face grow warm again. "You could say that. I wasn't expecting, well, you." The princess tilted her head thoughtfully. "And what did you expect?" "Honestly," Liam said, "something scary, something I couldn't understand, but instead, I saw someone I wanted to understand." Her eyes softened, and for a moment she said nothing. Then, with a calm voice, she replied, "You look at the unknown with wonder, not fear. That is rare." Before Liam could respond, a soft chime echoed through the hall. A translucent screen appeared, showing an image of clouds gathering around one of the distant floating islands. The princess frowned slightly. "A storm?" Liam asked. "Not yet," she said. "But the winds are shifting sooner than expected. We may need to guide the upper islands to stable paths." Liam blinked. "Wait, you move floating islands? How?" "You will see soon," she said, standing. "Would you like to help?" Liam grinned despite his nerves. "I didn't come all this way to just sit around." She offered her hand again, and he took it without hesitation. Together, they left the hall and headed toward a high platform where several glowing control pillars stood. The city below hummed softly as if waiting for their command. Liam looked at her, excitement building in his chest. This wasn't just meeting an alien princess anymore. This was becoming part of her world. And somewhere deep inside, Liam knew his life and humanity's place among the stars was about to change forever. The high platform rose smoothly into the open air, carrying Liam and the alien princess above the glowing streets of Loran. The city's hum grew louder, like 1,000 crystal bells vibrating in harmony. All around them, glowing bridges connected, floating towers and faint streams of energy flowed between the islands as if the world itself was alive. Liam held the edge of the platform tightly. Even though the gravity was light, looking down at the dizzying drop made his stomach twist. "I don't think I'll ever get used to this," he admitted. The princess stood calmly beside him, her silver hair rippling in the wind. "The floating isles are alive," she said. "They move like ships on a sea of air. We guide them so they do not drift into storms." "Guide them?" Liam asked. "How?" "Watch." She stepped toward one of the glowing pillars at the center of the platform. Placing her palm against its surface, she closed her eyes. The pillar pulsed softly, and a faint vibration traveled through the floor beneath Liam's feet. Liam looked out over the city and gasped. The nearest floating island, massive with entire gardens and buildings on top, shifted slightly, turning as though it were a ship responding to a gentle current. "You're steering that? With your hand?" "With my mind," she corrected softly, eyes still closed. The pillar amplifies thought, translating it into guidance energy. Liam stepped closer. "Can I try?" She opened her eyes briefly, studying him with curiosity. "Your mind may not connect as ours does, but perhaps you can share the focus." She placed his hand gently over hers on the glowing pillar. The surface felt warm, almost alive, and a soft hum traveled up Liam's arm. "Now," she whispered, "think steady thoughts. Imagine calm waters." Liam closed his eyes. At first, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the humming grew stronger. The island in the distance shifted again, its motion slowing until it hovered smoothly in place. Liam opened his eyes in amazement. I did that. The princess smiled. You guided with me. Your thoughts are clear. That is rare among travelers. Liam grinned. Guess I had a good teacher. Before she could reply, a voice echoed through the air, soft, melodic, but urgent. Several figures in living suits glided toward the platform on hovering craft. They spoke in their flowing language, pointing toward the far horizon. The princess listened carefully, then turned to Liam. The upper winds are growing restless. We must anchor more islands. Anchor them? You mean stop them from drifting? Yes. If they collide, the gardens will break apart. Come. You will see more of our world. The figures guided Liam and the princess onto one of the hovering craft. It was smooth and open, without controls that Liam could see. Yet it rose gently and shot forward with graceful speed, leaving a trail of soft light behind. As they flew, Liam looked around in awe. Below them, bridges twisted like ribbons, connecting platforms filled with markets, gardens, and shimmering towers. People moved through the city like water flowing through channels, peaceful, unhurried, purposeful. Children laughed as they floated small crystal toys in the air with a thought. Musicians shaped sound directly, creating melodies without instruments. This place, Liam whispered. It's beautiful. Your technology, it's not just advanced. It's alive. The princess nodded. We build with harmony, not conquest. Our science listens to nature. Our machines breathe with us, not against us. Liam thought of Earth, of crowded cities, heavy machines, and endless noise. For the first time, he wondered if humans had been doing things the hard way all along. The craft landed on another high platform. This one overlooked a garden suspended in the air, filled with vines that glowed softly as if carrying starlight through their stems. The princess guided Liam toward another pillar, taller and brighter than the first. Together, they placed their hands against it. Liam focused as she had taught him. Slowly, the vines around them began to tighten, forming gentle ropes of energy that linked the floating gardens to the platform. The island steadied itself, humming in relief. You feel it? The princess asked. Liam nodded. It's like the planet is singing. She smiled softly. You listen well. They worked side by side, moving from pillar to pillar, helping guide the floating islands into safe paths. Liam's movements grew more confident with each platform, and soon even the other aliens began to watch him with quiet approval. Their cautious stares softened into nods of respect. Hours passed, though time felt strange in this glowing sky. Finally, the winds calmed. The last of the floating islands locked into place, their energy lines shimmering like golden threads, holding them steady. Liam leaned against the railing, exhausted but exhilarated. That was unbelievable. The princess looked at him thoughtfully. You learn quickly. Your mind adapts. I guess humans are good at that, Liam said with a smile. We may not have living cities or energy pillars, but we figure things out fast. Perhaps that is your gift, she said softly. Not your machines, not your weapons, your ability to see what is new and make it part of you. Before Liam could answer, she gestured for him to follow. They walked along a bridge of light toward a vast open terrace where the whole city could be seen below. The sun was dipping lower in the sky, casting gold across the crystal towers. This is my favorite place, she said. The Heart Terrace. It shows everything my people are. Liam looked over the edge. The entire city glowed like a cluster of stars hanging in the air. Rivers of light ran between the islands. Gardens floated like green jewels. Everywhere people moved in harmony, unafraid, unhurried. It's perfect, Liam whispered. Nothing is perfect, she replied softly. Even we face challenges. But we listen, and we learn. That is how we grow. They sat on a low crystal bench. For the first time since meeting her, Liam noticed how quiet it was. No engines, no buzzing machines, just the soft hum of the living city and the whisper of high winds. Back home, Liam said, we're always rushing, always building, always fighting against something, time, nature, even ourselves. Here, it feels like everything moves together. The princess studied him. Do all humans feel this conflict? Most of us, Liam admitted. We dream big, but sometimes we forget to listen. She nodded slowly. Perhaps that is why you came here. To remember. Liam met her gaze. There was something in her eyes. Wisdom beyond her years, but also curiosity. As if she was trying to understand him as much as he wanted to understand her. Suddenly a deep chime rang through the city. A translucent screen appeared above the terrace, showing distant clouds swirling around the horizon. The winds had returned, faster, darker than before. The princess stood quickly. The storm grows sooner than we thought. Liam straightened. What do we do? We prepare, she said firmly. This will be stronger than a shifting breeze. We must shield the heart terrace and guide the islands again. Will you help? Liam grinned despite the tension. Do you even have to ask? As they hurried back toward the control pillars, Liam felt a surge of determination. He wasn't just a visitor anymore. He wasn't just staring in wonder at this world. He was part of it now. And as the winds gathered on the horizon, he silently promised himself that humans would prove worthy of this trust, that they could do more than just survive among the stars. They could belong. Dark clouds gathered on the far horizon, swirling like massive ribbons in the lavender sky. The gentle hum of Loran, the floating city, deepened into a warning tone. Energy lines running between the islands flickered as strong winds rippled through the upper air. Liam Carter stood beside the alien princess on the high platform, the glowing pillars humming under their hands. He could feel the vibration running through the ground, through the city, even through his chest. The calm beauty of the world was shifting into something powerful, unpredictable. This storm, Liam said, watching the clouds twist into spirals. Is it dangerous? The princess nodded, her silver hair rippling in the wind. If the winds are left uncontrolled, the floating islands could collide. Our gardens, our towers, they would break apart. Liam's fingers tightened on the edge of the platform. What do we need to do? We must guide every island into harmony, she said firmly. If one falls out of rhythm, the others follow. Other figures arrived on hovering craft, their living suits glowing faintly as they joined the effort. Each went to a control pillar, placing their hands against its surface. The pillars pulsed brighter, responding to their focused thoughts. The princess turned to Liam. Will you stand with us? Liam grinned despite the tension. I'm not going anywhere. She placed his hand over hers on the pillar. Clear your mind. Think steady thoughts as you did before. Imagine balance, imagine calm water. Liam closed his eyes. The hum of the pillar deepened. In his mind, he pictured still lakes and soft winds. Slowly, the energy lines between the floating islands brightened, pulling the drifting platforms into smoother paths. At first, everything seemed to work. The closest island steadied itself. Then, suddenly, a sharp gust tore through the upper air. One of the smaller islands lurched sideways, snapping. Two energy lines, the hum of the city wavered. They're slipping out of alignment, a voice called in the princess's melodic language. Liam opened his eyes. What happened? The wind is stronger than we thought, the princess replied quickly. We must reinforce the lines. Follow me. They leapt onto a hovering craft and soared toward the drifting island. Below them, gardens tilted, crystal trees swayed dangerously, and glowing bridges shuddered. Liam felt his stomach twist as the craft pitched and turned, dodging fragments of floating crystal torn loose by the gusts. The princess guided the craft smoothly, her expression calm even as the winds whipped around them. Hold steady, she said. We must reach the control pillar at the island's heart. When they landed, the ground tilted slightly under Liam's boots. He stumbled, catching himself on the edge of the platform. Your floating cities really need seatbelts, he muttered half to himself. The princess gave a soft laugh even in the middle of the storm. Come. Together they ran to the central pillar. This one glowed weakly, its energy fading as the storm pulled against it. Liam placed both hands against the surface, feeling the faint hum. "Focus," the princess said. "Picture roots. Growing deep into the earth even if there is no ground. Imagine strength unshakable." Liam closed his eyes again. He pictured massive roots spreading from the pillar into the floating rock, holding it steady. The hum grew stronger, rising into a steady tone. The island's tilt eased. All around them, other figures worked at their pillars, guiding the nearby platforms back into balance. The city's light brightened again, shimmering like a web across the sky. But the storm wasn't done. A deep roll of thunder shook the air. Liam looked up and saw lightning flash far above, not like Earth's lightning, but ribbons of golden fire twisting in the clouds. The wind roared louder, pulling at his suit. "Is this normal?" Liam shouted over the sound. "It is rare," the princess admitted, her eyes focused on the pillar. "But we are not afraid." Liam glanced at her, calm, unshaken, steady as the city itself. For a moment he felt something stir inside him. If she could face this without fear, so could he. The pillar's glow reached full brightness. The energy lines running from the island reconnected to the others, locking them into a steady rhythm. One by one, the drifting islands aligned again, moving as if they were part of a single living organism. From high above, a larger platform sent down a pulse of light, spreading through the network. The entire city hummed in perfect harmony, its song rising against the storm. The winds struck, again, but this time the islands held firm. The energy web absorbed the pressure, glowing brighter with each gust. Liam could feel the vibration steady in his hands, like holding the heartbeat of a world. Finally, after what felt like hours, the golden lightning faded. The swirling clouds slowed, breaking apart into soft lavender mist. The winds gentled into calm breezes and the hum of Loran returned to its peaceful melody. The princess lifted her hands from the pillar, breathing evenly, but with a small smile. "It is done." Liam stepped back, letting out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "That was incredible." The other figures gathered, speaking softly to the princess. Some nodded toward Liam, their once cautious eyes now filled with quiet respect. He had worked beside them and he had not faltered. The princess turned to him. "You guided with strength and clarity. My people will remember that." Liam shrugged, though he couldn't hide his grin. "Guess humans aren't completely useless after all." She gave a soft laugh. "No, you are more adaptable than I expected." They boarded the hovering craft again and glided back toward the Heart Terrace. Now the city shone brighter than before, as if it celebrated its own survival. The floating gardens swayed gently. Glowing bridges sparkled in the fading light and soft music rose from every platform. When they landed, citizens had gathered to greet them. There were no loud cheers, only quiet bows and nods of thanks. This was a people who valued calm over noise, harmony over display. Liam found it strangely moving. The princess addressed them briefly in her language, then gestured for Liam to join her on the terrace. Together they stood looking out over the city. "You helped save my world," she said softly. "For that, you have my gratitude." Liam shook his head. "I didn't do it alone. We did it together." She looked at him, her violet eyes shining in the light of the setting sun. "Together," she repeated thoughtfully. "Perhaps that is the lesson we both needed." They stood in silence for a moment, watching the floating islands drift in perfect rhythm once more. The sun dipped below the horizon, turning the sky to deep gold and violet. Liam broke the quiet with a small laugh. "Back on Earth, no one's going to believe this. They'll think I'm making it up." "Then bring them," the princess said simply. "Show them what harmony looks like." Liam glanced at her, surprised. "You'd welcome humans here, even after today?" She smiled gently. "You proved something to us, that your kind can learn, can help, can be trusted. Perhaps this is only the beginning." As night settled over Loran, lanterns lit themselves across the terraces, glowing, softly like stars. Liam felt a deep sense of peace, a feeling he hadn't known he was missing. But in the distance, beyond the calm skies, faint lights shimmered among the stars. The princess noticed them too. Her expression grew thoughtful, even a little serious. "There are others in the galaxy," she said quietly. "Not all as peaceful as my people. You and I may face greater storms than this." Liam met her gaze, without fear. "Then we'll face them together." The princess nodded slowly, as if his words confirmed something she had already hoped. And somewhere deep inside, Liam knew this was no longer just a visit. It was the first step towards something far greater, an alliance, a friendship, and perhaps a new chapter for both their worlds. The capital city of Lumeria glowed under the twin suns. Silver towers reached high into the pale sky, while airships traced paths between them like threads of light. Jason stepped off the royal transport with Princess Alara at his side. It was strange to feel so many eyes on him, curious, questioning, some even admiring. Only a month ago, he had been a mechanic on Earth, fixing broken engines in a dusty workshop. Now he was standing in the center of an alien court, his name whispered. Across the galaxy, the Royal Council gathered inside the Hall of Crystals. Its ceiling shimmered like frozen starlight. Alara walked forward with calm dignity, though Jason noticed her hands tighten slightly as the council members approached. The eldest among them, High Counselor Veyron, spoke first. His voice echoed, softly through the chamber. "Princess Alara," Veyron said, "you have returned safely, and you bring with you a human." His golden eyes studied Jason, not with anger, but with deep curiosity. "We have heard reports that Earth's son risked his life to protect our people." Jason gave a small, awkward nod. "I just did what anyone would do," he said. "We were in danger and I wasn't going to leave her behind." Another council member, Lady Rill, tilted her head. "Few outsiders would dare such a thing." "Why?" Jason glanced at Alara, then back at the council. "Because friendship isn't about where you come from. It's about trust. And Alara trusted me." The hall grew quiet. Even the ever-present hum of the crystal walls seemed to soften. Veyron looked thoughtful. "Perhaps there is more to humankind than our history books suggest," he murmured. But not everyone was convinced. "We cannot simply ignore tradition," said Lord Harith, his silver cloak rustling as he stepped forward. "The princess was meant to form an alliance with the House of Corvain. This human changes everything. What if he cannot be trusted?" Jason felt the weight of every gaze. For a moment he wanted to step back to let Alara speak, but instead he raised his chin. "You don't have to trust me just because I'm standing here. Watch what I do. That'll tell you who I am." Alara's eyes glimmered with quiet pride. She turned to the council. "Jason saved my life when no one else could reach me. If he had failed, I would not stand here today. Do we judge people by their worlds or by their hearts?" The question lingered in the air. Before an answer could come, a messenger rushed into the hall. "High Counselor, news from the outer colonies. The raiders have returned. They're attacking the trade routes again." A murmur of alarm swept through the chamber. Veyron's voice sharpened. "So soon? We must send aid." Jason stepped forward quickly. "Let me go with your fleet. I know their tactics. I've seen how they operate up close." "You would fight for us?" Lady Rill asked. Jason shrugged. "I don't see it as fighting for you. I see it as fighting for Alara, and for anyone who doesn't deserve to get hurt." For a long moment the council was silent. Then Veyron gave a small nod. "Very well. You will travel aboard the flagship Celestara. If your words are true, Jason, this is your chance to prove it." The Celestara was a massive vessel, its halls alive with the low hum of energy conduits. Jason stood on the command deck beside Alara, staring out at the sea of stars. He could feel the crew's cautious eyes on him. They weren't sure what to make of this human who had captured their princess's trust. The ship emerged from hyperspace near the colony world. A fleet of raider craft surrounded the planet, small but fast. Jason pointed to the readout screens. They'll try to draw your ships away, then strike the transport freighters. If we move to block their escape routes instead of chasing them, they'll have no way out." Admiral Corrin raised an eyebrow. "And you learned this? How?" Jason smiled faintly. "By being a very unlucky mechanic who got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time." The Admiral studied him for a moment, then gave the order. "All ships, follow the human's lead." The plan worked. The raiders found themselves trapped between Lumeria's fleet and Jason's predicted intercept points. Outmaneuvered and unable to escape, they surrendered quickly. Not a single life was lost. When the flagship returned to Lumeria, the mood of the council had shifted. Varen spoke warmly this time. "Jason of Earth, today you have saved not only our princess but our people. Your courage has spoken louder than any words." Lord Harith, who had doubted him most, bowed his head slightly. "Perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps unity with humankind is not as impossible as I feared." Later, as the suns dipped below the horizon and the royal gardens filled with golden light, Jason stood with Alara among the shining leaves. The air smelled faintly of sweet flowers. "So this is it," Jason said softly. "You've proven yourself to your people, and I guess I've proven myself to them too. What happens now?" Alara looked at him with an expression that mixed warmth and gravity. "The Council will offer Earth an alliance. It will take time, but bridges are being built." "And you?" Jason asked. "You'll have to stay here. You're a princess." Alara smiled gently. "And you are a son of Earth. But maybe our worlds aren't so far apart anymore." She hesitated for a moment, then took off her helmet, just like the first time he saw her face. "Jason, no matter what happens, I hope you'll remember this. You didn't just save me. You reminded me why peace is worth fighting for." Jason looked at her, the setting suns painting her features in gold. He whispered the same words he had spoken on that distant day. "Gorgeous."